Pentagon back to the Pentagon, especially Will and your family. When Will asked me to assist with a promotion, I was honored first for having this great honor. Then he came to me and said, "Really, sir, I know the boss doesn't allow you to speak much, so I think this would be a good opportunity." So, Will, I appreciate it. You've always looked after me. Actually, truth be known, I've known Deidre longer than I have Will, in that she had a great opportunity to have such an esteemed SGL, and she was one of my students. She was actually in a different small group. I know she, as we talk now, she fought to get into mine. It just didn't happen. But Deidre is one of those people that you remember. Out of all your students, you remember certain folks, and Deidre is one of them. So Deidre, thank you again on behalf of not only the Army, with General Pontiac as mentioned, but from all the families, etc. Thank you so much for your service to our nation and to the McKannay family. So, Will, as the boss said, we talked a little bit about character, and that was the boss's theme about Will. And I did meet Will when he was the aide to General Ryder, and then he was the aide to General Curry. I thought he was just the permanent aide. At the time, I was stationed in England, and I get a call from the secretary at the schoolhouse, and then finally I get to the aide, and we're coordinating the boss's trip to visit England, and he came along, and he was the person that really smoothed things over with General Ryder and then General Curry as he came along the year after. Will has always been one of those people that we would call blue chippers because of his competence, because of his compassion, because of the way he cares for soldiers. I saw Will again during OIF 2-3 transition. He was commanding a unit, just came out of Fallujah. Then he was ready. He was in eastern Baghdad, Solomon Park, patrolling that area. And he came and saw me, and he said, "Hey, sir, I was the 3 at the time." He says, I'm really being misutilized. I need a little bit more of a mission than I currently have." And I said, "Will, is this what you're really asking me for? You want a bigger scope in your mission?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "We're trained." He said, "My soldiers deserve it." He said, "The mission deserves it." Just so happened, I get a note from the Brigade 3 that says, "Hey, we need somebody to head over to Mosul." I said, "Whoa." He said, "A company minus, but we need them there in about a week." I said, "With all their kit." So I'm thinking, this is 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, Will just came and saw me, give a quick prep to the battalion commander, Gauntlet 6 at the time. And I said, "Hey, sir, I'm not going to go through all of course's action, but I said, here's who I'm recommending, and here are the reasons why." And he says, "Okay, go forth and brief them, and then let's get the warno out." So 2 o'clock in the morning, I call his CQ. His CQ comes running down to my office, and he says, "Sir," and I said, "Go get your commander." He says, "Okay, sir, what time?" I said, "Right now, go get your commander." Eyes really big. He didn't want to wake up his commander, but sure enough, he comes back. Will comes down and his PTs, and Will comes down and says, he's like, "Sir," I said, "Well, you've got 48 hours to give me your plan on moving to Mosul, all your kit minus 1 platoon." And he looked at me and said, "You're serious?" I said, "Well, I like to joke around, but this is not one of the times that I do." Moved out the next day. He and his team got together and had a plan, and they moved a company minus to Mosul. And as you know, those who've been there, that is a long convoy, a very big footprint. They did it professionally. He went up there, he got a foothold in, and then continued to exploit that mission there. So from a leadership standpoint, from a teamship standpoint, Will was the right person to do it. He left the right person in charge back with the 1 platoon minus in their continued mission in eastern Baghdad. But I couldn't ask for a better company commander to execute that mission than Will. So fast forward now a little bit. Now that's the lead by example. That is the lead from the front example from Will. The second example I'm going to give is his staffing prowess, right? So as the boss mentioned, he now is a joint intern, but now he's paying the price on the Army staff. So, matter of fact, this morning stand-up, the boss talked a little bit about the law enforcement professional program. Right, so law enforcement professionals is it's a fairly robust program that a joint organization used to own. But what a lot of people don't know is that it transitioned to OPMG for a short while before it went to CID. And that person that transitioned that was Will. Initially, it was myself and Will. Then when I found out that I was way over my head, I just turned it over to Will. And Will and I headed to Aberdeen. We worked all those pieces with Jaedo, and really Will brought that contract back into the MP family and then transitioned it over to CID. I mean, those are things that as a captain, you don't normally associate with the amount of competence that somebody has at that level of experience to be able to do those type of things. Will's his charisma, his compassion is what opens those doors. But it's really his character that keeps those doors open. And that's something that the boss, he always reinforces wherever we go is character over competence. And I will tell you, Will has both. Will has character, and he has the competence to go with it. So thank you again. Thanks for the family for coming. It's always special for us to share all the good news about what your son or your nephew or your friend, cousin has done. But sometimes I know you don't get to hear all the good things. So we'll continue to bend your ear at the reception and tell you some other good things that Will has done in his past. So without further ado,
If the McKannay family can come up forward, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated for the publishing of the orders. Attention to orders. The President of the United States has proposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Will McKannay. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, he is therefore promoted in the United States Army to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, effective 1 April 2014, signed by order of the Secretary of the Army, John M. McHugh.
All right.
Now, Colonel Gibb will now administer the oath.
Don't kiss Ross.
you notice how I pinned on his hat or his beret because he had the foresight to know that I couldn't reach his shoulder board. So. I state your name.
I, William Bruce McKannay,
having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the United States Army
in the United States Army
in the rank of Lieutenant Colonel,
in the rank of Lieutenant Colonel,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
That I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Cool.
Yeah.